You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming. It's 70 months with the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming at you with a new Let's Play episode of Arches, and oh boy, things are really heating up. Oh god, how are Dev and Cam gonna get out of this one? Well, god, this is a painful game to play. But I really enjoy it. And so let's go ahead and jump back into this nightmare, shall we? Alrighty. Hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. One second, y'all. Alright. Whoops. Took a bit more out on him than I meant to. Fuck, that hurt. Brian shakes the paw he'd used to hit Cameron, as if bashing Cameron's muzzle made it sting. Devin's rage crescendos once more. Brian, I will fucking kill you! Brian looks surprised for just a second, then he goes on grinning, enjoying the reaction as if he's watching a show. This only makes Devin angrier. I'll knock every tooth out of your fucking head! I'll tear your throat out! I'll... Devin's voice weakens, breaks, and trails off under Brian's apparent glee at the younger bear's fury. Realizing that Cameron's ears are twitching at his shouting, Devin returns his attention to Cameron as Coyote lets out a low, rasping groan. Cameron, honey, can you hear me? You can hear me, right, Cameron? Meanwhile, blood oozes out of the Coyote's nose and mouth, seeping into the fur on Devin's stomach and side. Devin tries to keep his sobbing and gasping to a minimum as Cameron's head continues to rest over his diaphragm. Cameron's eyes flutter, then he blinks, and Devin sees the light of consciousness re-enter his eyes. Cam! Devin? Cameron grunts under his breath, lifting his head slightly. Brian already looks bored at the catastrophe he just created, and now he keeps looking over his shoulder into the darkness that stretches behind him, shifting impatiently. Alright, make it quick, yo. We need to get moving. Don't you touch him! You're gonna have broken his fucking neck! Devin's voice cracks and turns hoarse again. Brian bristles, finally reacting, but Devin turns his attention back to Cameron, continuing to try and gently coax him into a state of consciousness. Come on, baby, can you hear me? Can you understand what I'm saying? Slowly, Cameron lifts his head, a mixture of blood and saliva connecting his lip to Devin's fur in a long strand. I'm okay. I'm fine. Cameron sounds confused as he mumbles, trying to get up unsteadily. No, stay still. No, get up. Didn't I tell you what I'd do to your bear if you don't? Then do it! Come on over here and do it, you fucking coward, you fucking scum! Devin. Cameron's voice is calm, a bit quiet and weak, and the bear goes silent as he focuses back on the Coyote. He has his head lifted, trying to focus on Devin's face. Who's feeling this right now? The question catches the bear by surprise. What? The mines, that's right. I'm going to the mines, and I'm coming back for you. Cameron clasps a paw to his muzzle, wincing hard as he shuts his eyes tight. What? What mines? Stay here! Devin's eyes well up with tears, seeing that the Coyote is barely coherent, barely able to understand what's happening. And Cameron leans in to kiss the bear, again taking Devin by surprise. He immediately smells the taint and tastes Cameron's blood, making the gorge rise in his throat. It reminds him of his predation nightmares, but Cameron insists, so Devin just concentrates on not heaving. He doesn't want to feel the gap where Cameron's lower left canine used to be, the unevenness of his already swelling muzzle. As he forces himself to kiss back, he feels something else press against his lips. Something hard and oddly shaped, and Devin opens his muzzle, allowing the blood to flow into his mouth, but with it comes something else, and Devin realizes all at once that it's the key. Devin maneuvers the key into his muzzle, as subtly as he can, hearing Brian sigh impatiently behind Cameron. It slides under his tongue easily, small in his comparatively large muzzle. Cameron whispers into Devin's ear, We're gonna go back home together, I promise. Where are you going? Why the mines? Honey, please! Devin can't keep the whining panic out of his voice, sounding like a cub, but managing to keep the words clear with the tiny key under his tongue. Devin just stares at Cameron as he pulls back, tears rolling down his cheeks as his Coyote crawls weakly to his feet and steadies himself against the wall of the van. You're fine. He turns his gaze back to the furious, sobbing bear. Sit tight, kid. We'll be back in a little while. I promise. Being knocked out, gaining consciousness, stumbling his way through the dark, all while in an untold amount of shrooms, is harrowing. That's the only word Cameron feels is appropriate for this situation. Harrowing. The world is more dreamlike than his dreams. The combination of disorienting factors leaves Cameron fumbling through a series of events immediately after he'd reached the old bear. Brian grabbed his paw, and suddenly they were moving swiftly through the desert before Cameron is pulled into a place that's cold and dark, lit up dimly by an old electric lantern, its handle hanging from the barrel of Brian's shotgun. If Cameron thought his perception of time was fucked on weed, now it's twisted over on itself. He's exhausted, having not eaten a proper meal in well over a day, and his throat is so dry, he thinks he might be willing to drink Brian's drugged water. Each time Brian goes around a bend first, or his bulk obscures it, the lantern's light disappears and leaves Cameron in darkness. Each time that happens, brilliant red arcs crowd his vision. Who's in darkness? I am. I'm in the darkness. Everything is in darkness. No, just me. Stop fighting it, it'll only make it worse. Cameron is surprised by the bear's sudden appearance. Where am I? Brian sighs heavily again. Doesn't matter. But... Cameron crumples up as something jabs him hard in the sternum, twisting in on itself, feeling a black hole open in his chest. It sucks the rest of his body and attention into it as the canine curls up on the hard dirt floor, whining and grunting. Finally, air returns to his lungs, and as it does, he hears a snorting sound again. After a while, Cameron looks up from his position on the ground to see the Brian on his knees, appearing to smell the stock of his shotgun. And Cameron notices the white powder, and he understands what's happening. Cameron hears a familiar voice, one that he's sure he's hearing and not imagining. Signal. One more time. Don't snort it. We're trying to coat your nasal cavity, not your fucking lungs. So my friends did it. And your friends are fucking idiots. Brian looks up from his disappearing line of bath salts. Who are you talking to? Cameron quietly tries to hush Dylan, but Brian already heard them. Oh, Dylan, okay. On top of that, Brian doesn't seem angry or upset, but his continued stare demands an answer. His name's Dylan. He's my ex. Sorry, we don't get along well. You getting some third man syndrome? Whenever I get real fucked up on too many drugs for too long, a person always shows up. I end up having a conversation with him and everything. Brian readjusts the way he's holding his lantern and gun and grabs Cameron's arm with the other. I hear it happens to people in survival situations too. Anyway, I'm always too delirious to remember who the third man is. Yeah, Cameron can't understand how Dylan isn't real, but this nightmare bear apparently is. Is he being tricked? Alright, here's the deal. I'll stop hitting you as long as you're smiling. Got it? Huh? Brian clenches his fists meaningfully. Cameron winces and quickly stretches his mouth into a large smile, even though it hurts to the point that tears well up in his eyes. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize what you were talking about for a second. I remember now. Sure do, pathetic faggot. Brian continues to inspect Cameron as Cody remains quiet, keeping a smile plastered on his face. This experience is too much. All this is too much. He just wants it to stop, and he'll do whatever this bear, the source of his torment, wants if it prevents him from being hurt again. Guess I did bust your chops pretty good, huh? Cameron flinches as the bear grabs his badly aching muzzle in one giant paw. Wait, please don't... Ah! Cameron cringes hard, but tries his best to hold still. Yep, broke your tooth too, swelling up a bit, but you're cuter with your face all messed up like that. Too bad it's gonna look real ugly by tomorrow morning, not that it'll matter. It's just hard to look at you now, with that stupid scar. Brian lets go and grabs his shoulder instead, at the same time glancing at Cameron's shirt. You from Bridgetown, Timber City, or did you just pick that up at Goodwill? I always say, when you're shopping at the Goodwill, never pick up clothes that have anything to do with the place. Fuck, just a few years back I took a Western sweatshirt from the Salvation Army and... Cameron follows along silently. Meanwhile, that third presence has shifted into something else, something a bit more familiar. Brian's getting chatty again for the second dose he took. Anyway, I hear that city's overrun with Antifa and all that. A true liberal hellscape if there ever was one. His mother, following behind them, is holding his paw. Looking back, he can't see her clearly, but he knows it's her. It's okay. It's okay. All the time it's outside groups coming into the city making trouble. Even sounds like her, defending the city they both grew up in despite its problems. Despite its streets becoming a stage for the country's culture wars to physically play out. Even while they suffered on the outskirts of what was supposed to be a liberal bastion lit up by the lights of tolerance and welfare, but instead glowing orange from burning cars and flashbangs. And yet they defended it, because they both believed in its core principles. Now, though, Cameron looks behind himself while also looking back. He's taller than she is, and he's reminded of just how small she was, how small she'd seemed to him now if she survived. He would have saved her, too, if she could have held on just a little longer. But how much longer? 4? 5 years? Would she have held on that long? No, not with her habit and the amount she was using. And though Cameron doesn't want to admit it, it was her death that spurred him to make the first serious change in his life. His mom wasn't a good mom. All things considered, she shouldn't have ever had children. But how can he judge? She was still a teenager, excited and in love, living out of a '70s Chevy van. But all of that came to an end when he was born in the December of 1995. The next year, his abusive, probably schizophrenic father left and committed suicide sometime in the mid-2000s. But for a few months in 1995, his parents truly wanted to make a good life for him, and that feeling of love from that moment in time overwhelms Cameron. They wanted him to be happy, successful, and they truly thought he'd be the one to break the family cycle of dropping out and being broke. And even though they wanted that for him, they especially wanted him to be happy, to have a family life and a childhood that both his parents were only able to see other kids enjoy. They tried. But it's the most typical love story for people like them. Because eventually, like in all those other stories, things break, and then things settle. He'd done the exact same before Devon. She should have taken more precautions. She left him alone in the trailer often, her medications and recreational drugs freely available for him to experiment with while she was at work. He became an addict just like her, and he had come to understand the baggage that comes with that label, that it's not just about a craving or a desire for something. Everyone has those feelings. No, it's about who you are as a person. A liar, a thief, a cheater. Someone willing to do anything to get whatever it is their addiction demands. Anything to feel good. Whether it's pathetically checking all the coin dispensers in a casino once you've spent your life savings, or pathetically combing through the carpet for whatever drug it is that you're starting to come down from. The only thing that had saved him from that life and death was his mother's insistence he keeps his grades up. Of course, one second now. Of course, Devon saved him too, but he would have never met the bear without good grades and a decent ACT score. And despite her losing touch with life in his senior year, that habit of academic discipline she drilled into him stuck. That's what got him a partial scholarship to the University of Pueblo. And that's what got him out of the trailer park surrounding Bridgetown and into the state's flagship university. A few schools in his own state had better offers, but Pueblo was the most prestigious of the schools he got accepted into. A top 100 school with the best-ranked nursing and engineering programs in the region. That, and at the time, Cameron wanted to be far away from Bridgetown, even if that meant the desert. And then he met Devon. She wasn't a good mom, but she was a great person, a wonderful person, and she did the best she could with what she had at the time. She brought him into a chaotic, unstable life, a life that she saved multiple times, and while he occasionally wished his mother would have just let him die, now Cameron is only thankful. While most of his life was tough, the past 5 years have been better than he would have ever dared to dream was possible. His life was perfect up until yesterday, when they got here. Tears run down his face, conflicted about how he should feel, but just knowing that he misses her, that he loves her, and that he hopes she's okay, wherever she is. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna pause that right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all had a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. I love you all, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!